Okay, so today we're going to be talking about point slope form. You have already learned slope form, which is what? Y equals mx plus b. You've also learned how to solve for slope, right? M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Point slope form is just a slight modification of this second equation that we just went over. All they did here, x1. Look up here real quick. All they did was take this bottom and move it over here. In order to do that, you would technically multiply x squared minus x, or x2 minus x1. And then so I would end up with m times x squared minus x1, not x squared, x to the power x2, and then equals y2 minus y1. This new, it's really just a modification of slope, but this is called point slope form. This is a formula you can use when you have been given the slope and a point or 2 points. Usually it's when you get a slope and a point. You plug all that in and you can solve for the other point. Okay? So, let me get a picture of this concept. So the point slope form, which you should have written this in your journals, of the equation of the non-vertical line through a given point x1, y1 with the slope of m is written as, and you see it here, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And that's when you're using a point and the slope. So let's try this. Example 1. Write an equation in point slope form of the line that passes through the point 4, negative 3 and has the slope of 2. So remember, point slope form, let's write it real quick, is y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Okay? And they've given you 1 point to plug in and the slope to plug in. So we just rewrite. We say y minus, our y1 would be what? So a minus a negative 3 makes this a positive 3, right? M times x minus, what is our x? So you say x minus 4. Oh, we have m. What's m? 2. All right, so you have now written this in point slope form. All they did, asked you to take the point and the slope and write it in point slope form. The easiest thing to do is think the y's are on the left-hand side of the equal sign and the x is on the right-hand side with the slope. All right, let's look at example 2. They would like you to graph y plus 2 equals 2/3 x minus 3. Since this is in point slope form, we know what the slope is, which is what? 2/3. And can you tell me what the point is that they have for us? 3, 2. X is 3, and it would be a negative 2 because you see how that's a positive? It's supposed to be a minus, so that means the 2 was negative. All right, so since we have a slope and a point, we can graph this. So you'd go grab a graph. Just sketch it in your journals. So you don't have to make it all fancy. And what is the point? We go over 3, down 2. I need a bigger dot. And then my slope is up 2 over 3. And then draw a line. Graphed. Any questions on that? The biggest thing you're going to have to remember is what becomes a negative and what's a positive, because between both of these is supposed to be a minus sign. So if it's not a minus sign ever, then you know the number in the actual point is a negative number. Okay? Between both this x minus 3 and the y plus 2, it's supposed to be a minus sign. The equation's a minus sign. So if it's ever a different sign, then you know that one answer had to have a negative, because a negative and a negative makes that positive. So you just got to keep an eye on that. If it turns into a plus sign, then the actual point is a negative. Okay? Let's do another one. Example B. We're going to write an equation in point slope form. From our picture. All right, so let's look at this. I'm going to start at the leftmost point and I go down how many? 2. So I went down 2 and then over how many? Right. 2 divided by 2 is just 1, so this is a -1 slope. Okay? Now, does it matter which one I pick to put into the point? Not at all. So, point slope form, I need to say, open parentheses, y, and this is normally minus, which point do we want to use here?
1, 1.
The 1, 1. So y minus 1 equals m, open parentheses, oops, I know m. What goes where the m is? Very good. And then x minus 1. Double check your signs to make sure you have the signs correctly. The slope is the only thing that was negative. Everything else is positive. So you have subtraction signs. It's all good. So then this would be your final answer. Sometimes you'll notice that where the slope is a -1 right here, when they write it, they leave out the 1. So they say y minus 1 equals negative x minus 1. There's an imaginary 1 right here. Okay? Just so if you see an equation that looks like that, I want you to be able to recognize it. When there's a negative in front of parentheses, there's an imaginary 1 there, just like a variable. And you can always check to make sure this worked out by solving for the slope-intercept form. Okay, let's do example 4. We need to do a real-life problem. All right, you are designing a sticker to advertise your band. Oh, you're in a garage band, guys. A company charges $225 for the first 1,000 stickers. $80 for each additional 1,000 stickers. Write an equation that gives the total cost in dollars of stickers as a function of the number of stickers ordered, and then find the cost of 9,000 stickers. All right, so first we need to find the rate of change. And then we also have an initial cost, don't we? Yes, $225 per 1,000. And they're letting you have it be as a function in thousands, which means you're just going to put 225 over 1. So, like, your point would be 1, 225. Okay, and then our slope would be the 80 over 1.
Why is it?
Because they said we can find the cost in dollars of stickers as a function of the number in thousands. So then you can put it over 1.
So like 1,000.
Right, would be 1. They're letting you do it that way. Okay, so we have our slope and a point. Can we write this in point slope form? Yes. So we would say, and they're using C for cost instead of Y, and S for sticker. So you would say C minus, and then what's our Y point?
225.
Equals, what's our slope?
80.
And then S for stickers minus 1, because that's how many stickers is the first batch, is 1,000. So there's your equation that you're supposed to solve for. Then they asked you to solve for if you had 9,000 stickers. Well, we're going to put a number 9 in where the stickers is, right? So where that S is, we're going to put a 9. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go to the next page because this is 2. C minus 225 equals 80 S minus 1. All right, so where the S is, I'm just going to plug in a 9 and solve. So C minus 225 equals, what's 9 minus 1? Yep. So then 80 minus 8 would be what? Times, woo. Can you tell I'm tired? 80 times 8 would be?
640.
Mm-hmm. And then to move the 225, I add it. So I get C equals, what's 640 plus 225? Yep. So if I were to buy 9,000 stickers, it's $865. That's a lot of stickers. Any questions? It's not too bad, guys. The biggest thing, I would have that equation, point slope form. I would just write it at the top of my homework paper so I have it in front of me and I can see it, and you can just plug stuff in all the time. Either that or just leave your journal open to what we just did your notes on, and then you'll be fine. Okay, you need to do numbers 3 through 27, but just the odds, which should make it a fairly short assignment for you guys today. And that's it.